Some juicy EV news that's come out over the last couple of days. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of interesting things going on in the world of EV. One being, the big name Apple. Some people still may not even be aware that Apple are looking to get involved in the electric vehicle market. We're going to be speaking about them today. We're going to speak about TSMC tripling their Arizona chip investment to $40 billion, and the good, the bad, and the weird about this. Also, we have seen ProShare launch an ETF meant to capitalize on the growing demand for batteries. We're going to take a look at that, what it actually consists of, and compare it to one of the more popular ones, BAT. Some of you guys may be aware of that, but there are some serious differences here. There, what the main things we will be speaking about today, my friends. The Apple one, quite exciting. Only a matter of time till people can drive around in their own little Icars. So right before we get into the first piece of news, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? I apologize that this video is a little bit later than usual, but my computer crashed while I was doing all the prep, and I basically had to prep the video twice. So that's what went on there. And please, my friend, if you end up enjoying this video, if you watch till the end, you get some value, subscribe if you're new around here for more content. So yesterday we got the news that Apple pushes self-driving car launch to 2026, but still eyes major EV industry disruption. Now, Apple's changed their projections in regards to this quite a few times already at this stage. So we'll just speak about this most recent update. Sources indicate the tech giant has also moved away from producing an electric car without steering wheel or pedals in favor of a less ambitious design that still offers full autonomous capabilities on highways, and the list price for the vehicle is anticipated to be under $100,000. So obviously producing any car without a steering wheel or pedals just seems completely unrealistic at this moment in time. I know we speak about robo-taxis, etc, etc. It's still quite a whiles away, and I think Apple now realize just how difficult that would actually be to do. So as of 2026, we can't expect to see people going around in cars like this, hands-on head, no steering wheel in sight. It's just not the reality just yet. Now, those days will be exciting, but we're going to have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, as long as it's still fully autonomous, what does it really matter if there's a steering wheel or pedals sitting there anyway? I think more people would rather have them there than not have them there, just for peace of mind, if nothing else. Apple's Project Titan has been underway for years and taken several dramatic turns, but at its core is a powerful onboard computer system that the company thinks could be an automobile industry disruptor. As for the shell of the so-called Icar, which obviously is the name that it's going to be, Apple reportedly has not settled on a design with the vehicle considered to be in the pre-prototype stage. The latest timetable is for a design to be released in 2023 and features in place by the end of 2024 before extensive testing in 2025 and a launch in 2026. Now, due to the amount of tosses and turns we've already seen with the Icar, I don't think anybody would be surprised if it ends up being even later. But one thing about Apple is they don't necessarily go for the first mover advantages in any of their industries. I mean, you look at the iPhone, it's not exactly like a phone was a new thing, but what they do is they take things that are getting ever so more popular and try to make them better and even more attractive to the everyday person, affordable to an extent. Not that their products are particularly affordable, but they want to come in and, appeal to the masses, and that's what they've done with their AirPods, with their iPhones, with their iPads, with their MacBooks, with their iMacs, with pretty much all of their big products. So that is why it doesn't even really matter to Apple if things do get delayed further. Again, they already have their business. They already have one of the biggest businesses by valuations in the entire world. They are not going to have to rush to get this out. They don't need it to make their balance sheet better. It's not like it's a Hail Mary. They have time. And again, they're not going for first mover. It's never going to be Apple's intention, I don't believe, with the majority of their products. But that's an update we just got on Apple. Now, this next one's going to feature Apple a little bit as well, but it's TSMC triples their Arizona chip investment to $40 billion. The US president hails Taiwanese chip makers' second plant as a boost for the country's manufacturing. Now, this one's a little bit weird. There is good, there is bad. It's not as revolutionary for the US market as it may seem at first, and it kind of tailwinds nicely into the Apple conversation as well. So Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company will more than triple its investment in the US state of Arizona to $40 billion as the world's largest contract chip maker steps up diversification of its production facilities on the geopolitical tensions and pressure from customers. Now, these geopolitical tensions in particular are quite scary. Or scary from the point of view of a large company such as Apple who, relies on their chips. They are investing $12 billion into construction of a fabrication plant, or what they call fab, in Arizona designed to make chips with notional 5 nanometer circuit widths. The so-called N5 generation will have fallen behind the most advanced type by the time the fab opens in 2024. And this is one of the big things. It's going to be old technology. However, at the event on Tuesday marking the installation of the first chip tools at the Phoenix plant, the company announced plans for a second fab that will manufacture a more advanced 3nm or N3 chips from 2026. But again, this will be a step behind what they have going on in Taiwan. At this stage, they'll have N2 chips, which will be the primary chips that the likes of their customers such as Apple will be using in the most modern, up-to-date iPhone. Which kind of begs the question, are these just going to be, a way for older model iPhones, older model iPads, and everything else in between to, have a little bit of a safer way to have them, basically? Industry experts said that even with the second fab, TSMC would not supply chips for new iPhone models locally when the plants finally open. They added the investments could provide only minimal supply chain security, giving a stark reminder of the risk incurred if China attacked Taiwan, where TSMC is headquartered and continues the bulk of their expansion. So the supply chain, I believe it's about 15% of the overall chips that would be needed by Apple would then be able to be produced in the US, which again isn't, the biggest amount in the whole wide world. Apple relies on TSMC as the sole manufacturer of chips used in iPhones, and since it moved from Intel in 2020, the Silicon Valley Group has been using its own designed chips produced by TSMC in its laptops and desktop computers. Two industry executives said part of TSMC's capacity in the US would be used for sensitive products, such as components for the country's defense industry supply chain. And a person close to the company said any TSMC US fab would be one technology generation behind the most advanced production in Taiwan, and that is one of the big issues here. It would make no economic sense that the latest technology comes out of the Research and Development Center in Hsinchu, that's definitely said wrong, I apologize, and is put into risk production and finally mass production. Replicating that in the US would significantly inflate costs, and they have no incentive to do so. So why would they bother? So Apple's next iPhone generation will start production in the second half of next year and continue in 2024. But TSMC's N3 chips, which those products need, will become available in the US only in 2026. So, I don't know how excited I'd be for this. I don't think it's really going to incentivize me to look into investing in TSMC, but still considerable news nonetheless. A good thing for US economy potentially overall. More jobs will be created, etc., which is good. But I don't think it's going to fix any supply chain issues realistically for Apple down the line, especially with them always being a generation behind, essentially. Now, ProShares launched an ETF meant to capitalize on the growing demand for batteries, okay? So the rise of electric vehicles and other green energy products has increased the demand for batteries, a trend ProShares is looking to capture with the launch of the ProShares S&P Global Core Battery Metals ETF. Oh, that is a mouthful. The fund hit the market on Thursday, offers exposure to global stocks involved in the mining of lithium, nickel, or cobalt. According to ProShares research, global demand for batteries is anticipated to expand by 25% annually until at least 2030. I don't think many people will argue with those numbers on a compound basis. More than 50% of the new ETF's holdings reside in Australia, China, South Africa, or Indonesia. The US represents only 8.77% of the fund's portfolio. Now, you can go and see this. Here's a fact sheet from them. And you'll see the weights, the index by countries, Australia at 23.78%, China at 12.29%, and you can see the entire breakdown here. If you also look down at the bottom left here, index sectors, metals and mining are making up 84.72% of the portfolio. So it really, really, really is just all about batteries. And the sustainability of batteries, I assume. We also have chemicals there, trading companies and distributors, and construction and engineering. Now, when I saw this, my first thought was BAT. That's the Amplified Lithium and Battery Technology ETF. So obviously some similarities there. But if we do compare them a little bit, you'll see that the industry allocation is very different. So battery components makes up 9%. They actually have 20% of it in electric vehicle stocks. You'll see that Tesla is 5.72% of the fund holdings. You're not going to see that here with ION, basically. You can also see, I noticed, BHP Group is 8% of BAT. I saw it in here just a second ago. Oh, I can't find it. I can't find it. Well, it was a very small percentage anyway. There it is, 1.75%. So these definitely are two very different ETFs. You would be forgiven for thinking that there could have been an awful lot of similarities here, but realistically, they are very, very different. Again, even just when you look at the countries index, where these stocks are coming from, and the weights in the ETFs, absolutely different. So I'm going to be adding this one to a watch list. I think it's definitely worth following along, following the journey for any EV investor, because we could, well, get some decent research out of these guys, and it just does give us a good idea of what battery related stocks are going to do and what they are doing currently. Now, aside from that, guys, not too much insane news, especially stuff that I haven't already covered on the channel recently, but I did just want to point this one out. Global electric car sales up 55% year over year to a 16% share for the full month of October 2022. China sales are up 75% year over year to a 31% share. This is happening quickly. Europe up 14% to a 23% share, and US is lagging behind a little bit at just a 6% share. Now, we can see those Chinese numbers getting insane. I went through this on the channel recently. We've seen it with NIO. We didn't see it with XPeng, but we've seen it with pretty much everybody else. BYD in particular had another breaking, insane month for deliveries. The Chinese EV market is exploding, my friends, and it's definitely worth keeping eyes on it very, very closely, in my opinion. But my friends, that is a little update video for you guys. Some juicy news coming out there. I am interested to see how this TSMC plays out over the next year or so. I'm really interested to see just how they perform. You can see over the last year, I didn't go through this earlier, they are down 20%. When this kind of news started coming out, they did go up a little bit. They are stagnating a little bit. Over the last 5 years, obviously, the 2020 run, they went on a great run, as any kind of a semiconductor company did. They held their value until the overall crash started happening. So, you know, overall, they really have not performed particularly poorly. They've definitely done industry average to an extent, only down about 25% or so, maybe 30% from the highs. They crashed about 50% nearly altogether. Not too bad, all things considered. I will keep an eye on it, but I don't think we're going to see any more developments for a while. But anyway, guys, if you watched this video all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend. I really do appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching the video. If you did enjoy it, you got some value, please do hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this one. I do appreciate it, my friends. I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'm going to see you for another video very soon. Peace.